Welcome to Confessions of an SEO. This is your host, Carolyn Holzman. If you're new to the series, welcome to the most non-SEO SEO podcast on the planet. This is what I affectionately call love letters to the SEO industry and the businesses whom they serve. If you're looking for shiny new SEO tactics, good luck, because if there are any in here, it's completely by accident. Mostly, this is the people side of SEO. My intention is to put a human face on our misunderstood and very often maligned industry. So expect to hear honest and blunt observations. This is agnostic information concerning SEO from someone who has been there on both sides, a brick and mortar business owner for almost 30 decades trying to get more business, and a 12-year-old search professional who's a reformed client SEO, now seriously seeking SEO researcher and tester. I believe the farmer and the cowboys should be friends, that there's mutual revenue opportunity to be made when we can understand each other's work better. So, if you're an SEO or a business owner or executive out there working with an SEO marketing group, this is for you. So, good morning. I am literally phoning this in from Vermont. It's a lovely, breezy morning with loads of sunshine for now. You might even hear the wind or my husband practicing upstairs. The windows are open, and it's the way I think summer should be. And by saying that, I do apologize to my Texas colleagues who are not here but stuck in hot Texas. So, okay, I feel today like sharing some things. I call them pet peeves. And before I get into them, for anyone who is like, what is this show about? In episode 6, I titled it Freshman Orientation, or What the Hell is Going On Here? There's a key of sorts to the types of recurring episode types you can expect. Sometimes it's an update on what I'm doing in SEO, like last week I talked about voice SEO. Sometimes it's an SEO rant, either about clients or Google. Sometimes it's a we've got to do better by our industry and clients, which is more pejorative towards the professional SEO or agencies. And just so you know, I looked up the meaning of pejorative just to make sure it means what I mean when I use that word. And yes, thankfully, according to Wikipedia, it is often used to express criticism, hostility, or disregard. Perfect. Okay, so today is a we've got to do better. And these are my pet peeves, things that I wish I never hear ever again. Things that for me that have become true because people repeat them like they are a thing. And they thus, by doing so, impede or hinder the SEO growth of others who accept the things as gospel because someone said them and then they share it. It's like a virus. Ugh. So today I have 3. And for those who probably know me, you probably already know what is first. All right, it's called the duplicate content penalty. There was a quick exchange in an SEO group I'm in, and what happened was a question was asked, can I copy a meta description from one site that's ranking high and use it on my site? Will I get hit with a duplicate content penalty? Now, I will share the answer at the end of the episode. And in the meanwhile, I think you will get to the answer yourself by the time I'm finished dissecting everything in this first one. We have to be more precise in our language around what we do, just the same as if we were doctors or engineers. It's an everyday struggle for me sometimes to get better at this. It takes resources, and when I say that, I mean your brain. It takes discipline, and it's essential, and it's worth noting the difference. It's my premise that duplicate content is distinguished as exact content on the same domain. If you read Google's developers, they do include the words, and I'm going to quote them, on the same domain or across domains. But even Google doesn't have this type of instance in precise language. So the thing that I'm really on the bandwagon of is I think we should not look to Google to define this for us. We as SEOs can define this. We don't need Google's blessing. When you take copy or even steal content from someone else's site and put it on yours and publish it, what you're up against isn't a duplicate content penalty, but a syndication filter, not to mention potential copyright issues when you go to taking everything. But as far as search engines go, it's syndication. So what's that? Well, have you ever published a press release? Typically, what you see in the search results will be 1, 2, maybe 3 instances of that release when you search for it by the keyword. And the other 300 URLs, which have exactly word for word the same as those 3, those are filtered out. You can usually find them if you search by the title of the release, but by and large, the more authoritative, trusted sites, and when I say that, I mean those with backlinks and traffic, are going to come through that filter. After so many of them, Google will say, thank you, we have enough of this. It's not a penalty of those other press release URLs. So when we as professional SEOs don't speak to each other with these precise terms, it's forgivable and imprecise at the same time. But here's the real problem for me. When other less experienced SEOs hear us, they aren't aware of the difference, and it's worth taking the time to correct ourselves, because like a virus, this misperception spreads. And the next time you know, it's repeated over and over until there are groups of people that believe duplicate content penalties exist. I'll let that settle in. All right. My number 2 pet peeve, and this is anytime I hear a deep and serious conversation about DA and PA, which means domain authority and page authority, for a page, and that it's a ranking factor for a term. These distinctions come from Moz, which is a non-Google entity that they've come up with their own proprietary way to score this, and they use this to predict how likely a website is to rank in search engine result pages. This scoring has nothing to do with Google, with their internal Google algorithm. Now, in the old days, Google had a score that they shared publicly, but they've since withdrawn it, and if they use it, they only use it internally, and it's called PageRank. PageRank is a Google search algorithm that was used to rank web pages in their search engine results. PageRank is a way of measuring the importance of website pages, and I'm going to say importance in a very specific way. According to Google, PageRank works by counting the number and quality of links to a page to determine a rough estimate of how important that website is, because the underlying assumption is that the more important websites are likely to receive more links from other websites. Now, it's interesting to note that patent related to PageRank expired in 2019, and I see it as ironic it's called PageRank, and it was invented by Larry Page, the co-founder of Google. So why does this bother me? There are a lot of people spending, and I'd wager wasting time on these kinds of discussions. If your page has a high DA according to Moz, it doesn't mean diddly if your page isn't relevant for the search term. Now, if you want to have a conversation about what factors determine a level of relevancy, I am happy to have that conversation all day and every day, and wouldn't think twice about spending the time in that conversation. In my opinion, that conversation can lead somewhere, but one about domain authority? No, I just can't. All right. So my third and final peeve for today is when someone says, and I quote, John Mueller says. Yes. Now, this peeve has everything to do with SEO testing. And if you're not clear on where I stand on the value of SEO testing, not experimenting, not taking a client site and throwing it up against the wall to see what sticks, but really working to isolate a page zone, may I recommend, if you don't know where I am on this, listen to episode 8, which is all about SEO testing, in which I discuss All right, I rant about the misperceptions about SEO testing and its value to our industry. Now, if you don't know who John Mueller is, he is the Senior Webmaster Trends Analyst at Google. That's his official title. Now, there are lots of SEOs that listen to every word that drops out of his mouth and repeat it ad nauseum. For me, it's more like the witches in Macbeth, who are both tremendously powerful and utterly wicked. They provided predictions which came true, but not in the way Macbeth thought they would. And that's the part for me, is that I don't necessarily think he's not telling the truth. I think mostly he is saying it, but he's saying it in a way that doesn't exactly reveal all the ins and outs. The reason I think most SEOs quote him is because they want to be perceived as knowledgeable, but they're too lazy or too ignorant to test things out for themselves. That might sound harsh, but this is called a pet peeve. And frankly, until I was testing for my own purposes, I would have been in this group. So if I'm harsh, it's because I've reformed my own behavior and calling it out for what it was. I'm not going back there. This new stuff is just way too freeing. Going back, I know I promised that I would say that I'd answer the question that I focused on in pet peeve number 1. Will using duplicate content in a meta description get my page penalized? The answer is no. Now, if you'd like to know the reason why, other than its syndication issue, there's a huge informative bit of information that was uncovered by SEO testing about the meta description. I would suggest mightily that if you're an SEO, get into IMG. That's Internet Marketing Gold. It's a group of SEOs. It's all of us in there. If you get in, make sure you find me. If you'd like to check it out, and I recommend that you do, you can get in there if you use a bit.ly link, bit.ly/SEO friends. So if you're writing it down, remember it's bit.ly and then SEO friends, all one word. Well, this brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to send your questions and comments to confessions@AmericanWayMedia.com. If you want to go back, you can listen and check out episode 22, which is my take on the upcoming Core Web Vitals this summer. Probably not what you're expecting to hear. Or, if you don't want to do that, I'd suggest episode 15, Hiring an SEO Company. I'm asking for your help to get the word out to other SEOs or business owners about this podcast. Please let your friends know about Confessions. We all stand to make more business and success with each other when we both, the SEOs and the business owners, understand each other better. This is your host, Carolyn Holzman. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the SERPs.